Welcome to my presentation, Week 4, Education 7718, Critical Literacies, Suzanne Murphy. This medium I chose because today we've moved from thinking of voice and credibility to thinking of appearance. And I think this appears to be most like the mannerism that is who I am as an educator, and therefore I thought it was the best way for me to present. So let's step into the forest of individuality. Can teachers be credible models if they don't look like the children they teach? Well, my answer would be yes. And yet, on the other hand, we look at these two, the appearance of these two fifth grade teachers, Dana here from outside of Boston, and Dana's appearance is more of a clean cut, preppy, predictable teacher. And we move over here to Rick, who probably looks more like he belongs in a rock band than in a fifth grade classroom. But in viewing both of the videos, their appearance and demeanor both were very credible as teachers. And I think we do place a lot of emphasis on credibility based on how a teacher looks. Certainly, which of these two teachers look the role? Dana. Probably fits the stereotypical prototype of a male teacher in America. In education, I think that profile is clearly directed at how the package is wrapped more than the content. And in part, I think this influence comes from socialization and cultural perspectives. How would you determine, or who would you determine to be the credible teacher? Personally and professionally, I feel that Rick is not at all out of place in his demeanor, attire, or style in Berkeley, California. It's a much more sociopolitical, laid-back environment where experiential thinking, learning, and teaching is probably at the forefront. On the other hand, Dana is precisely styled for the demeanor, etc., of a New England educator, more prescribed and defined. Are they both credible? Both are credible. These two fifth grade teachers are as diverse as the populations they serve. Evidenced by their ability to share best practices with the teaching community at large, we can determine that both of these educators are credible instructors. And once we move past our initial bias, we can likely evaluate their effectiveness well. And that kind of brings me into our next question, which experts would we want to learn from? Is it the prototypical expert? Let's take a quick glimpse at this picture of Americans. This is a very diverse picture, which includes a number of Anglo, African, Asian, Indian, ethnic persons in a variety of dress and attire, all of whom we conceive as some level of expert. And I would say that given the implication that an important purpose of public schooling in this country is to enculturate, i.e. the action of enculturation being the process by which individuals learn the traditional content of a culture and assimilates to that practice and value. That public schooling is about enculturating children into what it means to be an American. Who is the expert to teach? I would have to say it probably should be eclectic and diverse. These are the faces of Americanism. You know, this is a very diverse population of people, all of whom have been teachers. What does it mean to be an American? These are the faces of Americans based on Google Images. There's every type, size, and ethnic background of persons, dress, etc. in that picture. And yet, if you ask one of a dozen students that were interviewed by Scholastic with the question, what does it mean to be an American? They would tell you, those students would tell you, that it means to be free, but to have a responsibility to teach others and respect our freedom as a gift. And freedom being freedom from oppression, freedom from prejudice, freedom from isolation, and come around to can we learn from people who don't look like us? Can we learn about being American from those who live outside the United States? This young woman on TED television, her video, after you watch it, will certainly, I think, impact your thinking, because she taught me, and we are very different in our experiences. And I believe that after watching the video, who could not say absolutely? And then begin to tell your own stories, the multiple stories of diversity that engulf and are enculturated in our American society. So, with all of that said, I'd want to say the direction to follow is to follow the road of freedom for all. Free from discrimination, free and equal education. If what we're teaching primarily in our schools is to be good citizens, to be civil, all of the things upon which our public education system was based, then we should be free to speak, free to dress, and free to teach without unfair bias. Without these freedoms, we have no diversity, and America is diversity. So I really feel as though it's a misgiving that we wrap a tight package of what it should look like to be a teacher in America. What we need to do is unwrap the package and deliver a perspective of diversity and embrace that diversity. So I hope we find our way out of the forest. That's my presentation for this session, week 4.